Jamie Dornan.
Hi, Scott.
I'll give myself a little more light. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Good to see you.
Great to see you. Congratulations on the movie. Loved it, loved it, loved it. It was just so good. Are you
Thanks.
ready for this?
Yeah, I like your tartan number.
In honor of you, that's why, trying to be a little European. Okay, here we go. Hi, Scott Orlin with CINEMA-Magazin. A new film coming your way is called Wild Mountain Thyme, and I'm here with the star of the movie, Jamie Dornan. Jamie, years ago, I remember in Gone with the Wind, Scarlett O'Hara was talking about there's nothing more precious than the land, which her Irish father told her about. So I thought, wow, this is kind of ironic. Here you have an Irish father in this movie, kind of espousing the same thing. How important is land to you? What does it represent?
Yeah, I think it's particularly in Ireland where we're also proud of it. We're also proud of how beautiful it is and how green it is, and the sort of effect that it has on people when they see it for the first time, or the second time, or every time they see it. People are affected by that land, and I think even the further out from the sort of metropolitan cities, Dublin, Cork, Belfast, Galway, the places that people sort of know and stay, and they get further in to the more remote parts of the country, the land means even more to people there, and I think our story centers around these two people who are very much of the land and are isolated away from the hustle and bustle of the cities, and as a result of that are quite, distant people in the way they are, and struggle socially with each other, definitely, and certainly with other people, but they're definitely of the land that they care about very much.
Watching this movie, I couldn't help but think that so many men are going to be empathetic to you, because here we're kind of taught since childhood to be strong, to be men, and yet the most vulnerable moment is trying to ask a girl out. That all of a sudden, every bit of weakness inside of us just comes out. Why?
Yeah. Well, isn't that relatable? I mean, I sort of don't buy in. Listen, I've got 3 daughters, so I don't have to deal with this. I'm not going to have that thing of trying to teach a boy to be a man and not to cry and stuff. But listen, I wouldn't be like that anyway, because I'm all for crying. I'm all for showing your emotions. I'm all for talking about your emotions, and and being open, and I think it'll get you much further in life, and you'll be a much happier person if you the earliest that you can come to terms with that it's okay to not be okay, I think for Anthony, he just has, he's built it up so much in his head, what the Rosemary situation, and he's totally made himself believe that he isn't good enough for her, and he's been living with this secret that he's that's sort of destroying him, that he feels like if she finds that out, there's absolutely no chance that they can be together, no matter how much she shows to him that she wants him, needs him, in fact, and he's just incapable of giving it back.
And speaking of your co-star, I mean, obviously Emily Blunt is quite conditioned to getting up on stage and singing. How comfortable was Jamie Dornan doing that?
Not as comfortable as her. And I have to say, I mean, listen, Emily will say that she has anxiety in those situations, and she does. I believe it. She does. But and she is as terrified, and rightly so, as anyone would be getting in front and singing. We're singing live in front of people, but she is backed up by an innate, huge ability to sing really well. I'm backed up by a like a sort of lingering talent where I can sing enough to get by. I can sing as much as the next actor, I guess, but she can really sing. So, and that was the first date. That was our first scene together. Was us singing together. That was the first thing we did together. So yeah, it was a crazy day.
I want to talk about your other co-star in the movie, The Four-Legged Kind. How comfortable are you in front of some of these barnyard animals?
Well, both Emily and I are both very allergic to pretty much most animals with 4 legs. So it was this very strange thing of like handing out antihistamines to each other in the mornings. We had one day where Rosemary has her horse, and she'd been catching the horse all night, and I'm on the boat, and I fall out of the boat and all that. And that day I had like a eyebrow hair that was sort of like up like this. And Emily had been holding the horse, and she went, "Oh, you've got the thing," and went and like wiped my eyebrow. And we went to do a take, and the makeup came in, and what's that? What's happened to your face? And basically, because Emily had been touching the horse and she wiped my thing, I just had like a hive, like a massive sort of unibrow of hives across my head. So we had to like turn around and start on her coverage until like this went down. So that's how allergic we are. I love all animals, but I'm so allergic.
Now, before we kind of brushed a little bit about the music of the film, I don't know if you've listened to the soundtrack. It's really good. Somehow or another, I think the composer, you might have, might be familiar with her work.
I know that soundtrack.
How exciting was that to have a project like that together with your wife?
Well, Scott, it's a cool thing because, you know, there's no given that we both work in the same industry, but albeit in different parts. There's no guarantee that we'll ever work together. You know, in fact, there's a lot of likelihood that we wouldn't. So it's so cool because, you know, my wife used to be an actress years ago before I met her, and then is now a film composer. It's relatively recent. This is only her third movie that she's done. Is that right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, third. It's only her third movie, you know. So it's very cool that we got to do it together, you know, and I'm so proud of her. I love her work in it. It's incredible. And it was just this very strange thing of like, she has a studio here at the house, and, you know, she'd spend the day watching me on a screen and, you know, trying to elevate my performance with her beautiful music, and then have to come in and deal with the real, you know, the real me, you know, in the kitchen, or getting the kids to bed or whatever. So I think, you know, it was just like Jamie overload for her for that period of time. It was probably too much for her.
Impossible. You never have Jamie overload. We started out talking about land, and I've had the distinct pleasure of being to Ireland twice. And I know one of the times you actually guided me on some places to go, but I don't know where this exactly was filmed in Ireland. It might have been a location. I don't know if you've ever been to it before, but how much of this, your homeland, have you been able to discover?
Yeah, it's funny. So this the movie is set in more sort of Midlands Ireland, in Meath and West Meath, but we shot it in County Mayo, which is one of the counties on the west that I don't know very well, you know. And my dad has a property 1 county below Mayo. So I've been in County Galway and Connemara, which is one of the most beautiful parts of Ireland. All of Ireland's beautiful, but the West Coast particularly is just so stunning. And yeah, you know, it's like that thing of Ireland's not very big. You can drive the length of it in 6 hours. You can drive the width of it in 5 hours. And you know, I grew up there, but it's amazing how little you sort of see, you know, particularly when you're a kid. You know, we holidayed in West Cork, down at the bottom. Now my dad has a place in the west of Ireland. I'm from sort of northeast. But Mayo's just a county I didn't know very well, you know, and for whatever reason, and it is so beautiful. And I feel like you've seen the movie, that mountain that is sort of in the background of so much, that is just there. It's just a stunning, it looks like it's been painted in, you know, it is that beautiful. But I'm biased, but I do think it's the most beautiful land in the world.
And I'm going to end it on one last question about the music, because while I've heard growing up maybe some of Irish melodies that have kind of permeated through various cultures, you know, this beautiful song that you sing at the end, but what were the traditional songs you grew up with? What were the ones that maybe a grandparent or a parent sang to you?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few, you know. It's one of those weird things where I sort of don't remember a lot of the names of them, but there's still a thing in Ireland of, you know, particularly after a few drinks taken, whether you're at a wake or a wedding or just a general night out, or you're just in a pub, people will start singing, you know, and it could just be singing, you know, old folk songs a cappella, or invariably someone will bring out a guitar or a banjo, or someone will have a fiddle, and suddenly, you know, you're having a bit of a shindig. That still happens, you know, like a lot in Ireland. It's so sort of old school and almost from another time, but that still happens. And you know, that's something I love about home, you know, that sort of willingness to just fall into singing together, and like it's such a lovely binding thing that is, you know. So funnily enough, Wild Mountain Thyme itself is a song that I knew when I was younger, and yeah, I feel like, you know, it's one of those songs that always resonated with me in some way, and I always loved, but it has a totally different meaning for me now, obviously. And yeah, I love it in so many forms. There's cool versions of it. You know, the Byrds sang a version of it back in the probably late '60s, early '70s. So, you know, we've got David Crosby singing it and stuff. It's a pretty cool tune.
Well, it's a pretty cool movie. I cannot thank you enough, especially during this time of the pandemic, just to have something so life affirming and romantic. It's really sweet. So I congratulate you. Jamie Dornan, the film is called Wild Mountain Thyme, and this is Scott Orlin. Till next time.